power.
Yeah, I think there's a word for that movie, and it's intense. That is an intense movie. Every year at the New York Asian Film Fest, there's a couple of moments in movies that are just the oh my effing god moments, and this movie had at least two of them. One of them being when you cut off your own arm. It was amazing. Now I heard rumors that this was originally planned as a remake of the One-Armed Swordsman.
Not really.
Not true.
Not really. No, after I worked with Peter Chan in a movie called Bodyguards and Assassins, we were looking for a vehicle we wanted to both to do, and we came up with this. But he didn't really want to. It was my idea of cutting the arm, and because I thought it would be really cool to have Jimmy Wang and play my father, the original One-Armed Swordsman. And I played the new One-Armed Swordsman. How cool is that, right? And Peter Chan said, no, I don't want people to think that I'm going to do a remake of the One-Armed Swordsman. I wanted to create a new story. And then we dropped that idea until all the way, we were improvising the storyline and adjusting the storylines on a daily basis, all the way until right before the finale scenes. And Peter agreed to have me cut off my arm, which I did. And that's how I ended up being the new One-Armed Swordsman.
Jimmy Wang was terrifying in this film. I mean,
he was great.
You face off with him in some pretty intense, dramatic scenes. This seems like a more demanding, dramatic role for you than you've had in a while. I mean, you have to dig deep for this. I mean, what was it like doing a role with this much pathos and tragedy and drama?
I think I talked about this the past. Some of you may attend the premiere of the other movies the past 2 days, right? I talked about having the success from Ip Man 1 and 2. I was blessed and fortunate to be given different, various of different roles to choose, which was something that, as an actor, I always wanted to do. Is to, for the longest time, I wanted to show the possibility of being an action guy, the acting ability. For the longest time, people look at action actor, their perception of an action actor is, at best, an action icon, right? Never really take an action actor really seriously and compare it to a very serious dramatic actor, right? But that was something that I wanted to achieve, and then came Ip Man, and everybody just wanted me to be in the film regardless, and I took that opportunity to really try to explore that possibility there, all the way up to Dragon. Dragon is really is something very complicated character to carry, especially the one character where I play the paper maker. That's really hard. It's easy for me to play an on-screen hero because I've been doing it, and plus many years of martial art training. Naturally, I would possess a certain martial element in my gesture, in every step of the way I walk, but to drop every martial art knowledge and that feeling in my blood is really, really difficult. That was something that I spent weeks trying to find the proper accuracy of portraying that character.
Well, the Chinese title for Dragon is Wuxia,
Right.
and that's a really big, meaningful title to give to a martial arts movie. It's like calling a comedy movie comedy, or a drama movie drama. I mean, what do you think that this film has to say about Wuxia?
That's a question we made to ask Peter Chan.
Well, he's not known generally as a martial arts
Right.
director. He's only made one action movie other than this, Warlords.
Right.
And I mean, how did you find? You generally work with directors who've had some experience shooting action. What was it like designing action for a guy who's known largely for dramas, character pieces?
I think, first of all, I'm a big fan of Peter Chan. Again, after Bodyguards and Assassin, we wanted to do something really we both felt passionate about in regards of storylines and visions, and I know that by working with him, I can learn a lot from him, and also by working with a non-action guy, I can bring a new total element of freshness to films in comparison to some of the films I've done in the past. And obviously, you saw that, right?
Yes. Yes, and please don't hit us. By the way, my wife told me that she would kill me with her own hands if I didn't tell you that she's a huge crush on you. And there she is. And she wanted me to ask you a question. You were born in Boston, yes?
Actually, I was born in China.
You were born in China? I just told you you were born in Boston. That is,
I grew up in Boston.
Grew up in Boston.
Yes,
okay. But you were raised outside the industry, certainly. And I guess I was curious about your development as a martial artist and who trained you, and
My mother teaches martial arts. In fact, she for many years she was semi-retired. She's over 70 years old. For many years, she was one of the most prestigious female martial art instructors in the United States. Actually, she's part-time teacher students in Boston. So I started off my martial art training for my mother, and then I went on to explore different martial art styles. Especially since I became a martial art filmmaker, it was just natural for me to learn of the style, to have enough knowledge to be able to tap into different elements, putting different martial art elements into different films.
And you see yourself not just as a martial arts film star, but also as a martial artist. What do you say?
I'm a martial artist, but there's a big difference between a martial artist and an action actor.
Right. Okay. I'm really curious. You've collaborated with pretty much everyone important in the Hong Kong film industry. Who are your favorite collaborators?
They're so different. Jackie, Jed, Samo. Everyone possesses different flavor. By working with every one of them, it brings out the whole different chemistry.
Yeah.
Like when I worked with Samo twice, one Killzone, and our collaboration in Event 2. We generate a certain type of chemistry, opposed to Jackie, which I also worked twice with him, and Jet Li as well. I worked with him twice.
Okay. And do you have either a sentimental or just a personal favorite of the films that you've made, something that really speaks to you and expresses, obviously the quote from you in the trailer saying they have a trailer for you. It says that they're seeing your heart on screen. Is there a film that particularly expresses, I guess, you among your work?
Well, I think when you are acting a role, you actually bring a lot of yourself into that character. That's why you have casting. That's why same role but different actors bring out different flavor. So when I tackle different characters, you see a lot of Donnie Yen in that character. But my favorite, I have to say, still probably a man. Probably a man.
So not the guy bringing smashed couples. That's not.
That I like too.
If you haven't seen it, he break dances. See it. And then we'd open up the floor to. Okay, we have about 5 minutes. I'd love to open up the floor to some questions. This hand shot up like a rocket. What is it?
Thank you so much for doing this meeting. And I want to know, because yourself being here, you created a little excitement with the New York Times announcement that you said you retired movie.
Big lie. You heard it here. Donnie Yen not retiring at 50, ladies
No,
and
actually,
gentlemen.
I was telling the truth, but I'm 28. So 22 more years.
And you heard it here. He's 28. Okay. I saw a hand go up back there. Yes. You missed the one who looked around.
I'm just like his wife. I'm a big fan of yours. Your birthday is coming up. What is your best gift that you ever received? Birthday gift.
The question was, best birthday gift that you've ever received?
Asked?
Not in the future, sure, yeah.
Well, I have to say, my wife is here with me. She gave me a surprise for our birthday party when I finished making Bodyguards and Assassin. I remember the week prior to on my birthday, she called me and she said, you know, when you finish this film, you come back to Hong Kong. I was filming in Shanghai. When you come back to Hong Kong, we have this event on your birthday. I said, event? Yeah, you know, I'm committed to it. I signed a contract. You have to show up. I said, on my birthday, you know? Should we have something more private, you know, family dinners with kids or whatever? You know, it's just something within ourselves, right? So when I went back to Hong Kong, we did have the family dinner, and then the event started. She told me it starts at 9 o'clock or something, right? And reporters gonna be there, and after dinner I told her, can you just kind of give the deposit back? You know, I don't want their money. Can we not? Can I not go? Right? And then she said, no. You know, all the press is gonna be there. So I went to. By the way, and I hurt my back, you know, after Bodyguards and Assassin, I was limping, and you know, I just was not in the mood of attending an event. And then after dinner, she got me in the car and, you know, kidnapped me to the event and got off spoke to the reporters. And actually, she spoke to the reporters to keep the secret of telling. It was supposed to be, you know, it was a surprise party. You know? So I spoke to the reporters, and then we went up to this club, by the way, partially owned by me. It's like that. So really, Stephen Child and really always go there. You know, it's a pool hall in Hong Kong. But anyway, so when I went up there, the elevator door opened. I see crowds of people holding up these, you know, these pop, like, rock stars, you know, fans, and you have these little lights and hold up these signs, right? They're like, you know, like Justin Bieber's, you know. They have this big sign, I love you. Wow, you know, what is this? What kind of event is this? Then I see all these Hong Kong celebrities, like Sandra Ng, Leon Lai, I love you. Then I said, what is this? A surprise, a birthday party. Now my wife threw this birthday party, and she called out maybe 150 friends and family members, you know, including 1/3 of the whole Hong Kong industry were there. So that was really a touching moment for me, you know. Big round of applause for my wife.
I think there's time for one more question. And you know what, that young lady, I saw her hand go up first. Yes, that is right.
What is your favorite form of martial arts, and why did you decide not to be a part of the Experiments?
Okay, the question was, for those who couldn't hear it, what is your favorite form of martial arts, and why did you choose not to be part of the Expendables 2?
I really don't have a favorite style. You know, I like all style. I like all food. I don't have one particular food. Why did I turn down Expendable 2? You know, making a film is tough. You know, you spend months on the set, away from the family. You spend more months prepping to be in those few months, and then a few more months trying to get away from the character. So you spend a good amount of time in your life dedicated into making one movie, right? So if that role is not something that I'm passionate about, you know, I'd rather not do it. And Expendable, they were really gracious to ask me to be in it several times. I was in anyway, I was in LA and the producer asked me to be it, but unfortunately that role was not for me. But maybe in the future.
Okay, and I think that about wraps it up. Thank you very much.
Hey, guys, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got something to say. Listen, right before the film, I asked you guys to take pictures with me. Well, it was out of focus. So, if you guys don't mind, can I take a picture with you guys again?
Yeah, sure.
Is that all right? I really want to treasure this moment. This is really fun. Do you mind if I sit here? And then I kind of have this camera and see you in the back.
Donnie, hail to the king. Thank you so much for being here.